Good to see you again. Listen, I just have a few minutes. I want to tell you about something that's really significant. So welcome again here at Hell in the Hallway podcast with your host, Billy. Please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm also on Podbean. This is kind of building. I'm working through things, so I'm hoping you're enjoying what you see so far. But today's episode is on the concept of observing versus perceiving. I want to tell you why that's so important. We spend a lot of time in our perception world, right? We don't spend a lot of time in our observing world. What is the difference? See, when we're observing something, we see something as much as possible for what it is. And we don't have to attach judgment to it. We don't have to make it good or bad. We can pan out and see the facts as they are, right? That's even our feelings, right? So if I'm feeling upset, for the moment, that's a fact. I'm upset. But I can pull back on it and say, do I need to see that it's bad? What do I need to do with this? But let's talk about the idea of perception. When I'm in my perceiving world, I'm attaching valence to it. I'm attaching judgment to it. I see things as good or bad or negative or positive. I don't see them as is, right? Very rarely do we see things that way. So I was having some conversations with a client, and I was telling her a story, and I'm going to share the story with you. So years and years and years ago, I think that's enough times to say it, to let you know it's a long time ago. I had surgery. And it was an emergency surgery. And in that emergency surgery, I was not allowed to eat anything. I could not digest. I was very, very sick. And so I was only allowed, I couldn't even have fluids. I couldn't even swallow fluids. Everything had to be by tube. So I was only getting fluids by tube. I couldn't even brush my teeth. So it was just crazy. It was a whole week. So I remember my first meal, okay? My first meal, I will never, ever forget it, was chicken broth, okay? Now, we're not talking about it had little pieces of chicken in it. We're not even talking about something that maybe had some oregano or, parsley. Nothing. It was yellow fluid in a cup. First meal. Okay, after 7 days of not eating, however, having a roommate who can have whatever she wanted. So I had to smell that. It was awful. But let me tell you. So I remember the first sip of that chicken broth. I can actually remember it today. My taste buds lit up. I thought I had something imported from France. It was amazing, the taste. I suck that chicken broth down. I'm putting my fingers all in the cup. I lost my mind. And I couldn't believe how delicious it was. See, that was my perception. Because just a week prior, I wouldn't have even touched that chicken broth. Because it would have been mundane. It would have been like everything else. My perception that it was amazing because I was deprived. How often do we think things are amazing when we're really suffering from deprivation? See, that's the difference between observing and perceiving, right? So if I can observe the fact that I'm deprived of something, if I can observe and see it as is, and I don't like the fact that I'm deprived of something, but I can observe it, then I don't have to put something in my life that gives me the perception that is the answer to my deprivation, when in fact, it's just regular old chicken broth. See, then you're surprised, right? When you kind of get acclimated to this person, to this thing, to this career, you recognize that it's not what you thought it was, because it wasn't the thing that was the issue. It was you the whole time. We have to consider those things. We have to consider what void are we filling in our lives. So when we can operate from a place of observation, I can focus on myself and I can say, Billy, what are you going through? What are you thinking about? What are you struggling with? And then I can see if I'm trying to fill those things with maladaptive things. So what am I saying? Am I trying to fill those things with things that are really not good for me? Because deprivation will have you thinking chicken broth is a 5-course meal when in fact it is just chicken broth. We have to pay attention to that. Observe what's happening with you. Pull back and don't give it judgment. If you're feeling lonely, pull back, pan back and see it. Be careful when you're just operating your perceptive world, right? Because you can have a lonely moment, but if you attach pain to that lonely moment, you might seek out something that is not what it really is. Well, let me say, it is what it really is. You don't see it for what it really is. That's correction. See, far too often, we get ourselves involved with magicians, but we don't see that because we only see the illusion. We don't ever see the sleight of hand. See, we have to wake up sometimes, open the door to our hearts, welcome the emotion that we're having at the moment, observe it for what it is, so we can adequately make the right next decision, right? I have a saying that I like: make the decision or own this decision. Choice is yours. So once again, don't mistake chicken broth for a 5-course meal. It's just some water. It's just some water and some salt, to be perfectly honest. That's all I really had. You really couldn't tell me I did not have a 5-course meal. Couldn't tell me that. But a week later, I understood all it was regular old chicken broth. Who is chicken broth in your life that you have given 5-course meal status to? Thanks for checking in with me today. I'll see you next time on Hell in the Hallway.